cup. Each one picked up one cup. Most of the cups that were good looking were all picked up first. And the cups that were not so good looking were just lying on the table. And then this man, he brought tea to serve all of them. And he poured tea into each cup. And he asked them a question. He said, does the tea taste better if the cup looks better? It's not the case. The content doesn't really depend on the container. In fact, content is more important than the container. In life, most of the times, the principle by which we live is we love things and use people. Rather, life should be where we love people and use things. Because we are not able to understand the importance of substance, we always take shelter of shadow. So I'll be speaking about this Titanic. The Titanic was a ship which was mammoth in size, huge, 882 feet long, 92 feet in breadth. And the kind of size and the volume that the Titanic held was practically unthinkable at that point of time. The amount of money that was spent on building the Titanic was about $7.5 million. At that point of time, it was quite a huge amount. Life has three phases. This is the first lesson that we can learn from the Titanic. What sank the Titanic? An iceberg. Huge ship, unlimited in size, but sunk by one iceberg. What do we learn from this? Creation of anything is very easy. It may take a long period of time, but it's relatively easy. Destruction of anything is even easier. The ship took about 3 years to construct, but it got destroyed in practically a couple of hours. But what is most difficult is maintaining something. In life, how much easy it is to start relationships. It starts in a moment. And how easy it is to end relationships. It ends in a moment, right? Love at first sight and divorce at first fight. That's how life is. Starting and ending anything is very easy. We talk about building a body, exercising, developing muscles. The starting phase is very easy, very exciting. The moment one temptation comes up, the six-pack becomes a family pack. Completely goes away with temptations. Easy is to start and easy is to end. But maintenance is the most difficult thing. Therefore, in the Vedic culture, this whole concept of the Trinity is always there. Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. One talks about destruction, one talks about creation, another talks about maintenance. How does one achieve good maintenance? It depends on one's lifestyle. There are three kinds of lifestyle. One is the mode of passion. Mode of passion means creativity, acquiring. Most of us live a life where we are in the mode of using something, getting something. Mode of ignorance is about destroying something, the mode of destruction. Wasting life on nothing. So many people waste their life on nothing. Mode of goodness is sanity and clear thinking. So, how does one achieve mode of goodness? Mode of goodness is achieved when one has clarity of thought process. One time, one man was traveling in a Jaguar car at great speed. Somebody stopped him and asked him, "Where are you going?" He said, "Please don't stop me. I don't have time to think. I have to go fast." In life, most people live their life based on the clock. I come from Bombay. In Bombay, practically on the streets you find clocks, right? Where people are just running. But we don't know where we are running and why we are running so fast. So when we learn to live life based on the compass, then life becomes more meaningful. Titanic was considered to be a boat that even God couldn't sink. In fact, when the Titanic hit the iceberg, immediately people were discussing, is the ship going to sink? And many people in the ship, they felt, impossible. This is a ship that even God can't sink. Handling success is not very easy. In fact, handling success is more difficult than handling failures. There are so many people who have not succumbed to failures, rather succumbed to success. In life, pride is something that can ruin all kinds of success one achieves in life. And pride is something which is one of the most unwanted elements. Therefore, we say, pride comes before a fall. In Sanskrit, there is a quote which says, Vijayi Vinayi Bhava, which means you be victorious, but along with being victorious, be humble. When one becomes a man of success, that's not a problem. But more important than being a man of success, one should become a man of value. This is spoken by Albert Einstein. And being a man of value is being humble about our achievements. In the Australian Army, when people are hired into the Australian Army, one of the conditions which is seen is whether the person has ever had a failure in his life. If he has never had a failure, they don't hire a person into the Australian Army. You know why? Because if this person faces his first failure in the war, we don't know how he'll react. So therefore, they only hire people who have had failures before, so that they can handle, the pressure of war. The Titanic was considered to be a ship which was unsinkable. But one of the other problems with the Titanic was that when the Titanic was moving at a great pace, there was a heavy competitive mentality. That's one of the reasons they couldn't slow down when the iceberg came in front. They were competing with another ship which was known as Olympic. The ship was also setting in the same voyage, and the captain was inspired to reach faster than the Olympic, though the Titanic was much huger in size, much bigger in size. Many times we try to compete with others, trying to prove that we are better than them. And in the process of the competition, what we don't realize is we do not see what is our own value systems. I'll tell you about two plants. I'm sure all of you all have heard of the garden fern. The garden fern takes about 3 months to grow. It looks beautiful, looks nice. There's another plant which is known as the Chinese bamboo. I don't know if anybody has heard of the Chinese bamboo. The Chinese bamboo takes, how long to grow? If you plant a seed, first week nothing grows. Second week nothing grows. First year nothing grows. Second year also nothing grows. And the third year also nothing grows. But after 3 years, in 3 weeks, the Chinese bamboo grows to 100 feet in height. Between the Chinese bamboo and the garden fern, which is better? Actually, you can't compare. The garden fern has its qualities and the Chinese bamboo has its qualities. But unfortunately in life, competition is based on comparisons. Where one time there was a race of animals. There was an Olympic competition of animals. All the animals were participating in this Olympic competition, and there was an elephant. And this elephant wanted to win the running race. There was a cheetah, there was a tiger, there was a deer, so many animals, and they all ran. And guess who won? Naturally, the cheetah would win. Next year, the elephant decided that I'm going to win the race next year for sure. And he started undergoing weight loss programs. He started undergoing, jogging practices the whole year long. And again the race happened, and guess who won? Naturally, the cheetah won. The elephant went into a depression. This is what is a result of unhealthy competition. When we don't understand our strengths, we don't understand our weaknesses, and try to make our weaknesses into strengths, we land in trouble. Therefore, one should realize that in relationships also, we can save many relationships if you just understand the simple fact that people are not difficult. people are just different. When we learn to respect the differences, then we actually learn to appreciate and harmonize with them. The Titanic, a beautiful story happened within the travel of the Titanic. There was one family, which is known as the Clark family from Scotland. They had saved money for years and years and years just to be on this voyage of the Titanic. And 15 days before the Titanic set a sail, a dog bit the boy, who was a son of the Clark family. When the dog bit the boy, the doctor said the family has to be quarantined, they cannot travel. And they were cursing God. They were saying how bad this is. We have saved all our life money to travel on this voyage, and just when we were going to set a sail, this had to happen. God is cruel. And then when the Titanic set a sail, the Titanic sank. The same family, they started thanking God. They said, God is so kind. God is so amazing. He knew this is going to happen. Therefore, He did this to save us. So, what is good and what is bad in this world? Good and bad are relative terms. What we need to understand is we should not be affected by the good and bad, but rather we have to see what is the hidden message for us. What is the positive thing for us? Therefore, we need to have a positive attitude in life. One man, he was walking and suddenly he was going for an interview actually, a very important interview in his life. And just as he was walking to answer this interview, a bird passed stool on his head. His beautiful shirt, his beautiful coat, all messed up. And then, as soon as that happened, he said, thank God. His friend who was sitting next to him, he said, come on, how can you say thank God when your interview is in a mess now? He said, thank God, elephants don't fly. When you go through a negative phase in your life, rather than lamenting about what has happened, when we learn to see the positive in what has happened, we learn to see life in a very beautiful way. Most people who end up seeing life, they end up seeing life from a negative perspective. When we don't learn to appreciate the sanctity of life, when we don't learn to appreciate what we have got, naturally life becomes a mess. Relationships can become a mess if we don't learn to appreciate one another. Rather than cooperating, when we learn to start competing with one another, relationships turn into war zones. Therefore, from the Titanic, we can carry back these 4 lessons. The first lesson is that creating anything is easy, destroying anything is much easier, but maintaining things is very difficult. Therefore, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to career, when it comes to all aspects of our life which require maintenance, one has to learn to live a lifestyle in the mode of goodness. A lifestyle in the mode of goodness gives us clarity. The second lesson that we learned is that Titanic was a ship that even God couldn't sink. Pride comes before a downfall. When we are proud about the successes that we achieve in life, we seldom become humble about how it's not necessary that what we have achieved is only due to us. There are many circumstances that lead to what success is. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna speaks about 5 things that lead to success. Out of 5 things, 4 things are in our control and 1 is not. The 4 things that are in our control are, first, any project that you take, put the best man in the project, you'll get the best results. Karta means the person who's doing the project is in our control. The second thing is instruments. What instruments you use to achieve success in the project, that's in your control. You use the best instruments, you get the best results. That's in your control. The third thing is that, which is the third principle, which is place. You use the best place, you get the best results. India-Pakistan match. If the match happens in India, definitely the greater chances of winning. So you choose the place. The place is in your control. And the fourth thing is the amount of effort. The more effort you put, the more endeavor you put, the more planning you put, the best results you get. So these 4 things are in your control. But there's a 5th thing which is not in your control, that is Daiva. Daiva means the hands of God. When we don't have that, we have 4/5 of what we have in our control and 1/5 is not there, still there's no guarantee we will win. Therefore, pride is supposed to be leading to downfall. The third thing is, we saw Titanic competing with the Olympic ship, and we saw the lesson that we learned is unhealthy competition is very dangerous. One has to learn not to compete with somebody else, but rather learn to respect the differences and compete with yourself, compete with your best. And finally, we saw that good and bad both are relative things. What is good and what is bad depends on how you see it. It's all in your mind. So with this, I would like to end. I'm very grateful to all of you all for having patiently listened. I hope these few words that I spoke have some positive benefit in your lives. I'd like to thank the Rotary Club for having me over and giving me a chance to speak to all of you all. Thank you very much.